Hello old-timers and newcomers. I have to be quiet, because the only time I could find to record this was early in the morning. Freeze frame pictures. A small Australian company offering professional video work for promotions, TV adverts. This sounds familiar, doesn't it? Back when I first started making reviews back on my main channel, one of the first reviews that I made was of a short, sweet horror film called The Museum Project. It was produced by Freeze Frame Films. And like I said, it's one of the first reviews that I made, but the response to it that I got from Freeze Frame Films was immense. They commented, they liked the video, and they liked my review. They said I was funny. Me! If it weren't for these guys, I would in all likelihood have dismissed this as a failed experiment, but thanks to them, I am still going to this day. They gave me the confidence to pursue it and keep bettering myself. And it's been almost a year since then. I think a return to roots is in order. With that in mind, this week we are looking at The Secluded House. Creepy in its own right, we have found ourselves in the domicile of Paul and Dion, played by Paul Evans-Thomas and Dion Cavallaro.
We've been trying to find a haunted house in South Australia, and there seems to be nothing.
Well, yeah, this is Australia. Land of drop tarantulas, toilet cougars and penis fishes. Yet you people willingly live there. I think the ghosts are more afraid of you.
Everyone says don't go there. So, obviously we're going to go there.
I'd make a joke about white people looking for trouble, but I've already made an Aussie joke.
And we're going to film it because interesting stuff always happens when the camera's rolling.
Ah, it's self-aware, nice. Also, in addition to acting in the film, it was Paul and Dion who wrote and produced it, and it was actually them who wrote and produced the Museum Project. It's nice to have some faces to the names. They're looking for a haunted house to visit, as you do, and the only one they could find is a semi-mythical building called the Gawler's House. People online are reluctant to even speak of it, which right there is the least believable part of this story. But they do find out the address, so they pack some cameras, some penile compensation, and move to pick up their buddies Kane, played by Kane Harrip, and Joel, played by Joel Richardson.
It's like a ghost town.
No, it's like the future. Assemble, the troupe sets off on their Saturday night adventure. Where normal people desire Netflix and chill, this brave ensemble are on the look for the strange and impossible. On the way, Paul recounts the story of how someone allergic sniffed some pollen in the house and had to leave. Or, in his own words, the man felt like someone was strangling him and then ran away. Sounds pretty damn thin to me, but it's the best they got, so roll with it. And before long they find themselves by the driveway of the desolate building, met by darkness, ruins, and other assorted omens.
That's
pretty clean too.
Probably from a sheep or something, man.
Or, hear me out, you smuggled the dog treat in your back pocket. The dubious remains don't hold their attention for long, as the dilapidated building looms over them in the darkness. It's no wonder how the place came to be rumored as haunted. Any time of day it would be a disquieting place to be, but the night emphasizes its most offensive qualities. Isolated from the neighboring suburbs, broken and desecrated by wandering vandals, and left to wither in the saprophyte weed, and if you pull a jump scare, I will...
Oh, shit.
You're lucky I don't know where I was going with that. The rumored post-life vestibule awaits patiently as the boys cheerfully approach its broken gate. Jocularly, their walk is lined with mockery and nonsense, until they find themselves at the cusp of its solemn interior.
Who's going in?
You first.
There's not.
No, you got the big light, Paul. Off you go.
I told you it was a penis parable. While supposedly the activity didn't start until very recently, the building itself have been left to its fate for years now. The roof and ceiling have collapsed onto the floor, making a bed of rotted wood, nails, and molding to cushion their footfalls. Or stab them at a misjudged step. The plaster and paper have fallen off the wall, leaving only the bricks as a canvas for taggers passing through. Even the floor itself has given way to moss and other plant matter to penetrate the decomposing remains of the house. Or maybe this is where the tree from Poltergeist landed. Either or. Too Many Nukes Top 5 videos. A noise seized their attention, bringing their excitement to a fever pitch as they tried to remain quiet and listen. A voice, maybe. Then a clatter from somewhere in the building, but where from they can't find.
Oh, holy shit!
Huh. It's been a while since I saw an orb in a horror movie. Dion alone witnessed the spiritual emission, leaving him alone rattled amid a jury of doubtful peers. To lay it to rest, Kane trots forth to search the ruined place for any clue of what Dion might have seen. For a long time. And when they become concerned, they search themselves, only to find Kane has vanished. Well, what did you expect? He was in a horror movie. He did a jump scare. His name is Kane. Of course he was gonna get it. Not a sign of where he went. But for a moment, Joel thought he caught him in the distance and runs after him. However, all their sprint amounts to is the welcoming but empty car waiting for them. An offer, perhaps, but they are not yet willing to leave their friend behind. No, again Joel sees him and sprints towards him, faster than Paul or Dion can keep up. And before long, Joel too is gone. He doesn't answer their calls, he doesn't make a sound. His flashlight vanished, and the two friends find themselves in a bizarre landscape of withered tree trunks assembled into triangular formations. Looks like an old playground I grew up with. Alone and afraid, the two friends stay close together to not lose one another in the dark as they push forwards to find their errant comrades. Out of the darkness, Joel calls for them, and they set after him, but make sure to stay close together. Again they find themselves by the car, before another rattle sounds off in the dark. Briefly, they consider their friends playing a prank on them, but what if they're not? They won't give in to fear or anger, but follow the noise back to a sheet metal shed. The lights of the camera begin to flicker, but it's quickly traded for another flashlight. They're no conveniently helpless token characters, they come prepared. Even that can't shield them from the power that be. As they enter the simple storehouse, a deep, resonant tone rises around them before their flashlights die again. Blind and helpless, Paul screams out in pain, but as soon as the light returns, Dion hears his friend groaning beneath him. In the dark, Paul fell down some sort of cellar stair or grease pit, leaving him pained and stranded. At the top of the stairs, Dion can't see his friend. The only trace of him is the voice rising from the bottom of the stairs. Slowly, carefully, Dion moves, descending into the palpable blackness, calling out to his friend for every step. And with every step, the void guides him deeper down, until finally Paul manifests in the shine of the flashlight. Huh. I actually expected it to be some sort of... The trapdoor slams shut, but they force it open by the power of their fear. Out into the night they run, away from whatever was down there with them. In the open air they can gather their thoughts. Clearly there is something here, something bad. But what do? Run away like cowards, or try to find their friends?
What if it's Kane? What if it's Joel? What if it was you?
Yo, what if it's not?
How about you go to the car, wait there for a few hours, and if Kane and Joel don't show up, you drive off. I mean, yeah, their chances of surviving decrease if you do that, but so do yours if you stay. Defying their fear, they enter the house once again. Even as the sound returns, even as something bangs against the wall, even as shadowy forms retreats into the dark, they carry on. Even so, they're no fools, but pick up a tool to defend themselves against whatever may be hiding in the dark. The sounds of footsteps stumbling through the building comes towards them, and out of the night, it's Kane. Disturbed, breathless, but unquestionably alive. How or why, it doesn't matter. What does is Kane thinks he knows where Joel is. The shed Kane leads them to is unsettling but nevertheless empty. But before any of them can despair, they hear Joel scream again, back at the house.
Holy shit. Kane!
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 Oh,
What?
holy shit.
They rush forth to save their friend, but he fights back, struggling and writhing in their grasp until suddenly he gives in. He awakens as if from a coma, but as he does, the building comes alive around them. The ground vibrates, the walls buckle and the detritus splinter as they drag Joel out of the house, running for their lives back to the car. Beyond expectation, beyond hope, all of them made it back to the vehicle in one piece. And without looking back, they drive far, far away from the building. Somehow, some way, they made it through the night. Okay. I know found footage movies are often cursed with bad endings, but that was just weird. And I really should have watched this at night. In the dark. With popcorn. I do like some good ghost footage. Even when they're not scary, there's something really charming about the effort put into it. I felt the movie dragged on for a bit, which isn't a good thing when it's already a short movie, but when it did kick off, it held my attention all the way to the end. It was creepy, it was surprising, it was even somewhat innovative on occasion. I don't have much to say about the characters, they were made as a reason for the footage to exist, and that's it. There was no development, no exposition, no reason to care who any of them are, but I don't think any of that mattered. They were at the place, they experienced stuff, and when a film is only half an hour long, that is what's important. Further on, the premise as a whole is pretty lazy. A bunch of friends goes to a haunted house because they're bored or something, but it got them to the building, so it served its purpose. Basically, if you're looking for a traditional cinematic experience, you won't find it here. This is made to mimic the feel of real ghost footage, and anything beyond that is unimportant. The footage itself I really enjoyed. At first I thought it was going to be something very basic, cheap and unimaginative. When the boys started disappearing soon as they left frame, I thought that would be the pattern until there's only one left, and then he catches something strange, drops the camera and it cuts out. I was really surprised when they realized leaving the group meant vanishing in the dark. When Paul fell down the hall and we couldn't see him anymore, I thought Dion was just being lured into the dark by some mimic. And then they go and actually find their friends while the paranormal forces manifest around them. The film kept me guessing until the end, and several times I was at the edge of my seat. But I was a bit disappointed by the ending. I did not expect them to manage to flee, so that alone was a bit underwhelming. But for it to then cut to black and inform us they didn't make it after all felt tagged in. It felt like they wanted a surprise second act? I don't know. It doesn't follow a traditional cinematic structure, but it feels like they had an idea for something they wanted to do for the final bit and they just couldn't do it. It feels like a retcon within its own movie. The Secluded House holds up. 2 for 2, everything I've seen from Freeze Frame has been alright, and I'm weirdly proud of them about that. Something that occurs to me is this feels like something that could have been turned into a series, like an Australian Poltergeist Diaries, and it makes me curious if that was the intent. If it was, I'm sad we never got to see it, because I think it would have been alright. That said, even if I was very pleased with the frights, the film didn't really have anything else going for it. No characterization, no meaningful plot, and nothing to give it a sense of depth beyond some creepy ghost footage. I sentenced The Secluded House to a 6 on a scale of 11. Thank you all for watching. I have been Cool Scratches. Make sure to follow my art channel, my DA, my Twitter, and my Facebook. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and I hope you will see me again next time to take another look at what I found.